It's the Fisherman's Catch Coaches Show on Eagle Country 103.9. Each week, we preview and review all the stories in Ilwaco High School athletics. Now let's take the field, tee up, hit the mat, and settle into the starting blocks for the Fisherman's Catch Coaches Show on Eagle Country 103.9.
Welcome to the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9. It's brought to you in part each week by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. And it's a weekly chat show with Kevin McNulty, the Ilwaco High School Athletic Director, and he's also the head football coach. And we're going to be talking about Fisherman football to start the show. We've also have the volleyball team to get caught up on and how the cross-country team has been doing. But we'll start the show talking about the football team again. And it's kind of hard to believe, but already just about halfway through the season, they've got 4 games under their belts now, and they just got their first home win on Friday night, taking down Toutle Lake by the final score of 26-14 to finish up their non-conference schedule. So, Coach, tell me all about the win.
Well, it was good to get a W, and
Yeah.
It was good to play at home. We head on the road this week, but first we'll talk about Toutle Lake. And we opened up kicking off the ball and started off with a face mask, not the way you want to start out. They had good field position. Our defense put a stop to them, so that was good. We got the ball on downs, and we were sporadic at best early on, and we attempted a screen pass and it just didn't click. It got batted up in the air and intercepted, and the kid returned it to the 30-yard line. And Toutle Lake proceeded to get their one drive in the first half that they had and put it together and get in the end zone and make it 7-0 in the first period. From that point on, we kind of made things happen. And at the end of the first and throughout the second, we ended up scoring 3 touchdowns in the second quarter and really sustained some drives and held them to 3 and outs, and just got things going our way in that second quarter going into halftime with a 20-0 lead. And so that was good. That was kind of the highlight. We put things together, able to get a running game, mix in some pass. It probably wasn't our best night of football. That's yet to come. But we're making little miscues that I really believe just little things that we can tweak in practice fundamentally, and just technique stuff that'll really shore up what we're doing. We played again without Alec Bell. Brandon Duke stepped in and had a nice night. He had 23 carries, 97 yards. Brandon McMullen had 22 carries, 78 yards. You know, not huge numbers, but we'll take them. We, again, moved the football. And going in, our game plan was to be physical and dominate the line of scrimmage, to sustain drives and keep the ball away from Toutle Lake. And that's what we accomplished. We had in the mid-70s as far as number of plays. Toutle Lake had 28.
Wow.
So there's a significant difference there.
Yeah.
And that was by plan. We were able to execute the plan, although we'd like to get, average 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. That wasn't to be. But the fact that we were able to move the chains and get first downs, that was a positive. And again, able to keep it away from Toutle Lake. We opened up the second half. We received the ball. Again, we wanted the same plan put in place. We were able to put right around a 10-minute drive together in the third quarter, and end up coming away with the score. Things looked good, and Toutle Lake didn't have a real opportunity to score in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, it was kind of back and forth. We missed an opportunity to score. Had just one of those things that you see on Saturdays and Sundays, a receiver open. We didn't come away with the ball. Probably ought to, and probably would have 9 out of 10 times, but it didn't happen that night, and we'll save it. We'll have it in our bag of tricks to use on one of the other teams. But we had an open receiver, and Toutle Lake, when we didn't score, was able to put really one more drive together in the second half, and it was brought on by a long counter, kind of an inside counter. We reacted very quickly to the action, and they caught us on that. It was a 50, 60-yard run and ended up punching it in. and that was their offense the second half. We really had held them in check. If they hadn't had that carry, I believe our stats person said they would have had 12 yards rushing for the game, but they were able to put that carry in and end up with a positive. And so our defense did a nice job. When we say we had 70-some plays and they had 28, that sounds really good. And it sounds even better when they don't score. If the 28 plays and they're scoring every 3 plays, not near as good sounding. But we were able to win the football game 26-14, and I think the feeling in the locker room was, it was nice to win. And we enter league now. We're 0-0, but we still haven't come close to reaching our potential. And we know that it's little things that make a big difference, and that's what we're going to look to do this week as we open at South Bend. On the flip side, we had some things that we did very well. Our line was better this week. They were hitting people, sustaining blocks. We need to always figure out where the point of attack is, little things like that. Our quarterback, I've said it before, he's a competitor, and getting him settled down early is going to be key for us throughout the season, because he's a guy that'll take a little bit of a risk and drag that play on. Example, run and sprint out or bootleg. He'll hang on to it for a while until somebody comes open. And we've got little things. It's not Jack's issue. We got receivers maybe running the depth of their routes, and that's when I say little things to fix. But if the guy runs a drag route and it's 15 yards deep instead of 10 yards deep, it throws off the timing. So just little things, getting the repetitions we need. Defensively, we like the way we played. We'll continue and hope that against South Bend we do that as well.
Yeah, it sounds like they mostly had pretty full control of this football game from start to finish, and Ilwaco gets the win, 26-14 over Tootle Lake to finish up their non-league schedule. And when we come back, we'll have some final thoughts on this one and then preview their next one as they get into league play. It's a Fisherman's Catch, brought to you each week in part by Tap Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. And we'll keep talking Fisherman football next on the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9. And welcome back to the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9. It's brought to you in part each week by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. And we're talking to Kevin McNulty, the Ilwaco High School Athletic Director and head football coach, and coming off a really nice win over Tootle Lake on Friday, getting their first home win, 26-14. And Coach, as you said, they were missing Alec Bell again. Do you feel like the team was kind of able to fill that void better with Alec Bell being gone this last game?
Well, Alec has started the last 3 years, so it leaves a void when you have your leading rusher coming into the season and not playing. What it does do is allow somebody else an opportunity to get reps. And we have Brandon Duke, who's just a sophomore. And against Kalama 2 weeks ago, we are limited. We had he plays JV football, and that's where he gets a lot of his reps. And they run the same stuff that we run. But we have a little bit more expanded playbook. And so getting him repetitions over the last 2 weeks has been a huge asset. Brandon feels much more comfortable. He has a different running style than either Brandon McMullen or Alec Bell. He's a quick kid, and he runs hard, doesn't go down easily. So it was good to see him get in there and have success and feel comfortable knowing where we were attacking and what we were doing and the plays, as opposed to a week ago, we ran a lot of one-back stuff because I was really nervous. We're not deep in the backfield, varsity and or JV. And we tried to run one back in case one of them got dinged. We'd still have another one that's varsity caliber. And this week we just went ahead and went with our two-back stuff. And split the carries, and it wasn't by design. It just ended up that way, that one had 23 carries and the other had 22. And what it's really done is helped us down the road. When Alec does get back, we're going to be better because of it. And again, they all three have different running styles. Alec Bell's quick, yet he's a bulldozer. Brandon McMullen has great eyes, shifty, more of an inside between the tackles runner. Brandon Duke can get outside, a little quickness. He's more of a slasher runner type. And then our flanker that adds yet another style to it is Alex Kino. And Alex is, he can get lost out there on the field. He's not a huge kid. He's a 5'6", 125, 130-pound kid that's quick, makes people move, shifty, and again, can get in behind a pretty good-sized line on a counter or reverse and make things happen from that perspective. So we like that. And then, of course, having those backs really sets up play-action pass. Mm-hmm. And we're getting better at pass protection. We have some guys. I mentioned Alex Kino. I also mentioned Ethan Bannister that can get open on routes. And, of course, Jeb Sheldon from a tight end position can get out there and get open as well. And we have another sophomore besides Jeb, Tennyson Ramsey. And they kind of split in some time and, different playing styles. So, yeah, we're better because of it. And then on the defensive side, not having Alec Bell, other people have had to step up and step in, and we're young. We gain experience when you're starting 4 or 5 sophomores on the defensive side. It does nothing but get better each and every week with those individuals getting experience. So we're without Ryan Shank, defensive back, starting safety, and Ethan Bannister has stepped in for him, and then we start 2 sophomores at cornerback and a couple sophomores at outside backer, a junior on the inside backer, a first-year player at nose guard. So they're gaining experience. Coach Enos does a great job of getting our defense put together each and every week, and it was nice to see that. And I think he would also appreciate that the offense keeps the ball and sustains drives and scores. Most defensive coordinators do like that. So we're going to try to accommodate him on that side of the ball as we prepare for South Bend.
Yeah, the best defenses are happy when they're fresh and they have some rest. So, yeah, good offense is great for the defense. And with some pieces missing, now you move into league play. Got a big game coming up here this Friday with South Bend. What are you expecting there?
Well, South Bend's 2-2 and able to put points up. They have a option attack offense. Their quarterback is a kid that started since he's young. He's been indoctrinated into the option offense, the veer stuff, since he's in middle school. Quick running back in the backfield, Sanchez, the coach Tom Sanchez's son. And if he gets a crease, he's gone. We're not catching him. He's very quick. He's not very big. So if we can get a pad on him, he'll probably go down. Mm-hmm. But we've learned from prior experience playing against him that if he can get through there without getting hit, he's off to the races, and then we're going to lose that foot race. Mm-hmm. One of the things we don't have is tremendous speed. So the quarterback will ride that thing in there on option, and you'll swear that that has given the ball to the fullback, and then he'll pull it last second and take off around the end. So for our young guys, it's going to be assignment football. Mm-hmm. And, South Bend, when you play them, you have to understand that they're probably going to get some points. There's going to be a breakdown at some point. They're like the academies in college, the Navy Academy and the Air Force. They'll just grind. They'll hit you with the same play over and over and over, and then all of a sudden they'll pull it out of there and run around and run option. We know that. They're predictable on when they're going to throw. They throw a couple different routes, but again, they're effective, and they've, earlier this year they put 73 points on the board against a team earlier in the season. It was 73-39 or something like that.
Wow!
And so they can put up points. Where they struggle is defensively, and we're hoping to just be a little bit more physical and pound the rock right down their throat. and get some points and set up our play action. We feel that we are more physical than they are. They're very quick to react defensively. So if you start action one way, they are going to rally and get there, and they do a nice job. It sets up a little misdirection. It sets up a play action pass. It sets up our screen stuff. So we're going to have that stuff clicking and give them some of that, a dose of that. You know, you'd like to put some sustained drives again together and take care of business and start our league out 1-0. And this is what we've been working towards. Look forward to it. We went to South Bend last year. We're going to South Bend again this year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a familiar opponent. All right, they're going to be taking on South Bend this Friday to open up league play. And when we come back, we'll get maybe one more final football thought and then talk about volleyball and cross country. It's a Fisherman's Catch here on Eagle Country 103.9. And welcome back to the Fisherman's Catch on Eagle Country 103.9. It's brought to you each week in part by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. Talking to Kevin McNulty, the head football coach for the Ilwaco Fishermen here at Ilwaco High School. He's also the athletic director. And still talking about Fisherman football here. One final thing here before we get into volleyball and cross-country schedule. Last week you were telling me how you came up with a little bit of new verbiage for the offense up until the third game of the season. And last week you were telling me how you think that it's going to be best to go back to what you know to get the football team kind of going in the right direction. How do you think that worked out last week?
It worked out well. Our kids understand it. We just, we tried to install a couple things from spring, early fall, thinking that you had a certain group of kids coming in and then maybe an injury or two. And so we went right back, and that's what I had mentioned earlier, the two-back stuff, and we'll motion to one back. We're probably not going to just come out and line up in shotgun and start throwing it around or running. We have some of that in there, but we're more of a pound it between the tackles, off-tackle play, get you sucked in and then catch you on the outside, as opposed to just sending people around the edge. We don't have that speed that we're just going to beat you around the edge. And so it was an easy adjustment. A tweak here or there, and we're right back into our stuff that we feel most comfortable. And I feel most comfortable calling. So we'll continue down that path. And, one of the things we can't do when we talk to our kids about this is we can't become so predictable that we don't want to be the team that runs on first down, runs on second down, and then throws on third down.
Yeah.
We got to be able to complete some passes. They might be short passes. They might be screen passes, but get a few positive yards on that first down and put us in a down and distance that we can operate. We're not the type of team that will just stand back there and can be on 3rd and 10 and be the most consistent. We're not bad. Jack throws well. We have some receivers that can catch, but that's not our forte. When you have your backs that are, Alex 225, 5'7", you got Brandon McMullen at 5'10", 185 pounds, and then Duke, who's the shiftier of the crew, is a 5'7", 150-pound kid. So we need to use those people. We're fairly large up front for our size of school, and we need to use that and use our physicality.
All right, so they'll be taking on South Bend this coming Friday to open up league play. And now let's get into the volleyball schedule here a little bit. They're actually finding some pretty good early season success so far, aren't they?
We are. We're 4-2 overall, which is the best record Ilwaco volleyball's had in many years.
Nice.
And we're starting league action this week, so it's a big week. On Thursday, we will actually be playing against South Bend, and that'll be, our kickoff, if you will, for the volleyball. And look forward to getting to a good start. We'll play a C, a JV, and a varsity games on that night. But our volleyball played in this past week, and we got wins against Toledo and Oakville, and both of those were 3-0. And went into Saturday, played a tournament at Raymond, ended up losing in tournament play and ended up in the consolation bracket and ended up second place there. So we have a busy week this week. We're playing against, like I say, South Bend. Then we have a JV volleyball tournament at South Bend this Saturday. And in cross country, doing well there as well. Our girls team was third this past weekend, and boys team was fourth at Montesano Invite. So that was good. We are the highest for our size of school, and so that bodes well. Ben Brownlee was ninth on the boys' side, and Eliza Bannister was sixth. Big week for us in cross country. This Thursday, we host the Joe Williams Black Lake Invite. Joe was a former coach. In fact, Coach Taylor, our present coach, it was her coach. And Joe taught here for many years and coached cross country, and so it's the Joe Williams Invite. We'll have a lot of teams here. We'll have middle school, along with JV boys and girls and varsity boys and girls. And it'll be busy for us. And then, of course, our cross country, they have their annual trip this year to Marysville. And they'll leave Saturday morning and go up there and run in the afternoon, spend the night, and come back on Sunday. So they do fundraisers for that. Great opportunity for team unity and to hit mid-season stride, because believe it or not, they're at mid-season. Cross country will be hitting their league and district meets later in October and be all wrapped up first week in November. So it's getting there. We're moving right along, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving September. October 1st is already this Saturday. Really hard to believe. Well, that's going to do it for the Fisherman's Catch this week, brought to you in part by Taft Plumbing and Septic in Ocean Park. And we'll talk more fisherman football, volleyball, and cross country next Wednesday night here on the Fisherman's Catch with Kevin McNulty on Eagle Country 103.9.
Go Fishermen.
This has been the Fisherman's Catch Coaches Show on Eagle Country 103.9. Join us each week during the school year at 6 p.m. Wednesdays as we take a closer look at Ilwaco High School athletics on Eagle Country 103.9.